My dear students of Standard 7, I welcome you all to CMI's online classes. In today's class, we will continue with Chapter 2 of our English Grammar, Subject and Predicate. This is the second video on the same chapter. In our previous video, we understood after the discussion of this chapter, the definition of subject and predicate with examples, and we also learned to identify subject and predicate in sentences. But more things we are going to understand in this video, in today's class, that is how to identify subject and predicate in different kind of sentences. Like, we all know that according to function, sentences are of four main kinds. They are assertive sentences, imperative sentences, interrogative sentences, and exclamatory sentences. Now, in today's video, in this class, we will learn how to identify subjects and predicates in all these kinds of sentences. That means how to identify subjects and predicates in assertive sentences, imperative sentences, interrogative sentences, and exclamatory sentences. So I have written some of the examples here on the board to find out the way, to explain the way how to identify subjects and predicates in all these kinds of sentences. I hope you will find it easier whenever you will also do yourselves the given exercises in your book. So in our previous video also I explained mostly how to identify subjects and predicates in assertive sentences, because it is very easy to identify subjects and predicates in assertive sentences, because we all know that verbs are the main part of the predicate. Now, in assertive sentences, if you find any word, whether it is helping word or main word, that we are confirmed at that time that we have found predicate, because verbs are the main part of the predicate. But in case of imperative sentences, the case is something difficult, or we have to understand it. Understood? In the same way, in interrogative sentences also, we have to understand the process how to identify subjects and predicates. In the same way, in exclamatory sentences also, we have to understand the process, okay, how to identify subjects and predicates. So let us first start our today's explanation on how to identify subjects and predicates in all these kinds of sentences according to function. Now see here, I have written some of the examples here. These examples, some of the sentences I have taken from your book and some I have written my own. Okay, so almost the examples of this part, this side, I have taken from the book, and this side I have written my own examples. Like see here, number 1, we are going to the zoo. We are going to the zoo. I told you that subject, to identify subject, we have to, after reading the sentence, we have to understand that about what or about whom the sentence is being written. So here, after reading the sentence, we have to identify that sentence is written about whom or about what. So we are going to the market. The sentence is written about we. Okay, this is a pronoun, and here this pronoun we has been used as a subject. Okay, so we is subject here. So I have circled subject. I have circled the subject. So we is subject here. Okay, now what is told about we are going to the zoo. So here we have found bird. This is helping verb and this is main verb. So wherever we find verb after verb, the rest of the words are predicate in assertive sentences. See, we are going to the zoo. Are going to the zoo is predicate. Now come to the next sentence. I told you that the subject can be a single word or the main subject is always a noun or pronoun. But sometimes we may use other words that go along with the main subject, the main noun or pronoun. In that case, other words that describe the words, the noun or pronoun used as the subject in sentence can also be treated as the part of sentence. That means subject is not always a single noun or a single pronoun. Subject may be more than one word. Okay, other phrases that go along with the subject, the main noun or pronoun, or other words that can be used along with the subject can be treated as the subject. Okay, but here we have only one word, that is pronoun, single pronoun as a subject. But when you come here, the school is on MG Street. The sentence is about the school. Okay, the school. And what is told about the school? Is on MG Street. So what is told about the school? Is on MG Street. So is, this is verb. So after verb, this rest of the words are predicate, part of predicate. Now see. Here, if you see what is the main noun, main subject here, school is the main subject. But this the article the, definite article the, is also used with the subject. So, as a whole, the school is subject. Understood? Now, see here. Now, sentence number 3. French fries and burgers are bad for you. French fries and burgers are bad for you. The sentence is about French fries and burgers. So here we have two nouns used as the subject, like French fries, one, and number 2, burgers. And these two nouns have been joined by using the conjunction and. So we have two nouns. The sentence is about two nouns. That means two subjects we have. And it has been, they have been joined by conjunction. So here, subject is compound subject. Okay. As I have already told you, if two nouns are there, if the sentence is written about two or more nouns, not only two nouns, two or more nouns, then the subject can be called as a compound subject. Okay. Now come to the predicate. What is said about the subject? French fries and burgers are bad for health. Are bad for health is predicate. Here are is verb. So after verb, the rest of the words are predicate. Now come to the next one. Next sentence. Next example. They played well and won the match. The sentence is about they. So they is subject here. Okay. Now what is told about the subject here? Played well and won the match. Played well, played is verb here. Okay. So played well and won the match. So here after verb, rest of the words are the part of predicate. But here, if you see, here in this sentence we have two action words used for the subject they. That means here the word they has performed two actions. One is played, another is won. Okay, played is the past form of play, verb play, and won is the past form of verb win. So here two actions have been done by the subject. So here we can say the predicate is compound predicate. Okay, I have told you yesterday about the kinds of subject and predicate, compound predicate and compound subject. Compound subject when we have more than one noun, two or more than two nouns used as the subject joined by conjunction, then that subject can be called as compound subject. In the same way, if the single noun or maybe the compound subject perform more than one action, more than two actions, then the predicate is also the compound predicate. Understood? But when we come to, see, these were about assertive sentences. Now come to the next example. Go home now. Example number 5. Go home now. And example number 6. Please lend me your book. So these two sentences are the examples of imperative sentences. Imperative sentences. Okay. So we all know that imperative sentences are the orders, commands, okay, suggestion, okay, request, or a piece of advice. So in this case, in most of the imperative sentences, we don't see any subject is written there. Subjects are not written in imperative sentences. Okay, we have to understand the subject. Like, go home now. If I am speaking to someone else, go home now, I will address that person with the pronoun or with the word you. That means you also, if you use imperative sentence to speak to someone else, to that person also, you also individually want to say you. Okay, if you say the same word to someone, same sentence to someone, go home now, that means you mean to say you go home now. So in case of imperative sentences, subject has to be understood as you. So we have to note down that here we have to note down that you is used as the subject. Okay. See here, go home now. Go is verb, home now. After verb, home now, the word home now also tells us about the verb. So here, imperative sentence is completely the predicate. Okay. Imperative sentences are completely the predicate. Here we have no subject written. We have to understand the subject. That subject is you. In same case, this one. Example 6. Please lend me money. Please lend me your book. If you speak this sentence to someone else, it also means you. Please lend me your book. That means here also you have to understand you as subject. And please lend me money. Please lend me your book. This is predicate. Completely predicate. Understood? In case of imperative sentences, is it clear? Okay. In imperative sentences, subjects are not written. Imperative sentences are completely can be taken as predicate. And in case of identifying subjects in imperative sentences, we have to understand you as subject. We have to point out separately that here you in front of the complete imperative sentence, we have to write in bracket you and underline it and write down subject. Okay. Now come to example number 7 and 8. Example number 7. Where are the boys playing? What does your uncle do? Number 8. So here these sentences are interrogative sentences, and these interrogative sentences are framed by using WH word. WH words here where and here what. So whenever we frame interrogative sentences by using WH words or helping verbs. Okay. See, where are the boys playing? This is WH questions. And if I write the same question, a verbal question by using helping verb, are the boys playing? Okay. So in this case, I have already told you so many times that in case of WH questions and verbal questions, that means verbal questions means questions framed by using helping verb. In this case, we have to understand that the subject comes between the helping verb and main verb. See here. Where are? See are. This is helping verb. Okay. and playing. This is main verb. So in between helping verb and main verb we have the boys. That means the boy is the subject. The boy is subject here. In the same way, if it would be a verbal question, are the boys playing? So here also it would be the boys. Are helping verb, playing is main verb. So the boys that comes between helping verb and main verb, it is the subject. In the same way, what does your uncle do? Here also, what does your uncle do? Here, this does is helping verb and this do is main verb. Okay, this does is helping verb and this do is main verb. So between these two helping verb and main verb, we have your uncle. That means your uncle is subject here. Okay. Otherwise, if this process is being so difficult for you to identify subject and predicate in interrogative sentences, you need to change this sentence into assertive sentences also, or you can give the answer of this question also. Like, where are the boys going? Playing. If I answer, the boys are playing in the field. So here also, the subject is the boys. Like I have found here, the boys. Okay. See, are playing in the field. This is predicate. Okay. Now, what does your uncle do? What does your uncle do? See here, if you translate this sentence into answer, my uncle. See, your uncle means my uncle. So my uncle is subject here. And works in a hospital is predicate, because works is verb. So whenever we get verb in assertive sentence, here answer is in assertive. Answers are in assertive sentences. Okay. So here, when we find verb, the rest of the words are predicates. Now see here, understood? In interrogative sentences, whether the interrogative sentence, that means questions, are framed by WH words or helping verbs, subject comes between helping verbs and main verbs. Okay. Otherwise, you may transform or you may change the sentence into answer also to find out subject, to find out the subject. Now come to see exclamatory sentences. Examples here. Sentence number 9 and 10. Sentence number 9, what a big house you have. And sentence number 10, how boring the movie was. I have already told you so many times that in case of exclamatory sentences framed by using WH words, the subjects end at the end of the sentence followed by the verb. Okay. In case of exclamatory sentences, subjects, the sentences end with the subject followed by helping verb. If you follow this, what a big house you have. See, have is verb. So you here, pronoun you has been followed by the verb have. So here you is subject here, because I told you that exclamatory sentences ends with subject followed by the verb, and I have already told you verbs are the main part of the predicate. So here you is subject here. Understood? In the same way, question number 10, sentence number 10, how boring the movie was. Okay, here was is verb, here the sentence ends with verb, but before verb I told you that subject follows by the verb at the end of exclamatory sentence. So here the movie can be treated as subject. The movie is subject, not can be treated, but the movie is subject. Okay. Otherwise, the same process we can, if this process you are finding difficult to identify subject in exclamatory sentences, we can follow the same process that we followed in interrogative sentences, that we can change these exclamatory sentences into assertive sentences. Like, what a big house you have. The meaning of what a big house you So here also we have found you as subject. Have a big house. So have a big house is predicate because have is verb. Okay, and in assertive sentences whenever we find verb, the rest of the words are predicate. Now, how boring the movie was. So if you change this into assertive sentence, that means the movie was so boring. So here we have to use the concept of the plus word also. Okay, how means so. So here, if you change this exclamatory sentence into assertive sentence, so it becomes the movie was very boring or so boring. So here the sentence is about the movie. So movie is the subject here. The movie is subject here. Was is verb. So was so boring. This is the predicate because after verb the rest of the words are predicate in assertive sentences. Okay, understood. But exclamatory sentences can also be framed by using interjection also. Okay, like see, like alas, the dog is dead. See, alas, the dog is dead. So here alas is an interjection. Okay, the dog is dead. If you remove this interjection, the dog is dead is simply a statement and assertive sentence. Okay, but when you have to find out if you change this into assertive sentence, it will become, because we have to add the meaning of alas also, because interjections carry our inner feeling, but we have to identify what kind of feeling that of those interjections we are using in sentences. Okay, alas means your inner feeling of grief, that you are very sad, okay, disappointed because of the death of the dog. Okay, alas, the dog is dead. That means it is very sad that the dog is dead. It is very sad the dog is dead. Okay, so here it is very sad the dog is dead. That means you have to write it as the subject, or is very sad that the dog is dead is predicate. Understood? Otherwise, if you write only this sentence, the dog is dead, the subject is the dog and is dead is predicate. Okay, because the sentence is about the dog, so the dog is subject, and what is told about the dog is dead. So is verb. So after verb, other words are predicate. Understood? Now I hope you have understood everything about subject and predicate. Not only how to identify subjects and predicates in assertive sentences, but also in other kinds of sentences also. But still, if you have any doubts, you may ask me questions regarding the explanation of this chapter. Okay, but with this explanation I announce you that chapter 2 is also completed. Understood? But still, if you have any doubts regarding my explanation, if you are somewhere not able to understand, then kindly raise your doubts, ask me question, any kind of question, but you need to be clear about your concepts of understanding subject and predicate. Understood, students?